The first thing we're going to do is give you our supply list that you need to make this wonderful ornament. We're going to use a coyote gourd. We have these available if you don't have access to one, but you could use any gourd that's small enough or big enough to use as an ornament. So any gourd that's about the shape that you want to put your flower on and think you're going to be covering at least half of it. If you had a longer gourd, you'd be covering about a third of it. So any gourd that's a nice size. We're going to paint our coyote gourd with a metallic gold. This is just an acrylic paint, and it doesn't matter what brand that is, just any nice metallic paint. You'd also need a paintbrush to put your gold metallic paint on. So it can be flat, I just like to use angle, so anything like that. We're also going to be using our clay tool set. If you need access to that, we have that available on our website. The most important thing, of course, in this whole thing is our QuikCopper. And notice that this is the copper, not the wood. This actually contains real pieces of copper particles. So we're going to have fun with this because we're not going to have to worry about coloring it or base coating it, and it just has a real nice antique look to it. We're going to need scissors to cut our QuikCopper with, so make sure that you have that available. We're also going to need our vegetable spray. Any good vegetable spray is fine. This helps the QuikCopper not to stick to our hands, so make sure that you have that available. You also could use a little bit of water. Sometimes if you're in a little bit of a sticky situation and you don't want to use a vegetable spray because you're putting that piece onto your gourd, you could use water instead of that. We're going to use a mop brush, and this one actually says oval mop, but it's a paintbrush that's got a bushier tail, I guess, instead of a flat paintbrush. We're also going to use some shimmer embossing powders, and I call these shimmer powders a lot. You do not want to get these confused with the embossing powders that are more grainy, and that after you put them on you heat them up to make a puffier look. So these are more like a real grind powder glitter kind of look. There's just real shimmery, so we want to make sure. I have a gold, a purple, and a green. You could replace any of these with colors you wanted in place of those. We're also going to use bead caps at the end, and you find these in the bead section, and what they are is they cap a bead. But I like them because you can use them on your ornaments to make your hanger. So I really like the bead caps. They come on all kinds of different shapes and sizes and colors. And I'll probably be using a gold one with this today. So we have the bead caps, and with the bead caps we have our cording. And cording comes in all kinds of different colors as well. And I think I'd like more of a tan or a gold looking cording that we'll use for our hanger. The last thing that I'm going to show you is when you're completely done with it, and I actually like to use the crystal glaze after I completely put the hanger on. And one more item I forgot to add to my pile here was the E6000. I'm going to kind of push my bead cap into the clay, but I also want to glue it just a tad with some E6000. And after I get that hanger on and have something to hold on to it, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to varnish it, or in this case I'm going to spray it with triple thick glaze by Krylon, and I'll do 2 or 3 layers of that after it's done. So those are all the supplies that you need to get started on this video. The first thing I would like to ask you to do is base coat your gourd and in the gold and let that dry so you have that ready to go all nice and neat. And let's get started on this.